It is your friend Rick Dees in the morning on Hot 92.3. Hot 92.3. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Whoa, he walked it. Look, there's a sea of long tongues from women's mouths on the carpet. It's Brian McKnight. Oh.
Wow.
Are you tired of being called a sex symbol?
I don't know if I've ever been called a sex symbol.
I just called you one.
Well, except for that one time.
How are you, my man?
I'm great. I feel really good.
As you pulled up today to the studios here, and by the way, could you say hi to my friend Natalia Perez? Natalia, pull this microphone over just a sec. This is the man himself, right?
I know. I'm a little flustered. I'm one of the females with the wagging tongues. Yeah.
This is an SUV, and if I'm not mistaken, this is called Track Vision. As I'm looking out the window here.
There is some track vision.
Okay, now explain what is Track Vision.
Track vision allows me to watch DirecTV while I'm driving.
Oh, yeah. I thought it
Not
was.
that I do that. It's for the people who are riding in the back, which I'm always riding by myself. But I like to hear it.
You can watch DirecTV. It's called. I thought this was cool.
Yeah.
Is there a special place you go to have it put on? I mean, is there a?
Actually, this is the fourth vehicle I've had it put on. I pretty much get a new truck every year, more or less. And once you have that in your car, you cannot drive without it.
What are you driving?
What am I driving? It's a Range Rover.
Yeah, that's not. Range Rover came out #1 in testing from a magazine called The Rob Report.
Right.
And Natalia, what do you drive? I never have asked you. What do
I
you
drive a Mazda.
All right, give it up for the Mazda. With a rotor.
Mozzie the Mazda.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Brian McKnight, as a little boy, is listening to the radio, and you said at least one time in your life, oh my gosh, if I could just sing like that.
I learned at an early age that there were songs that I loved that I had no idea who wrote them. So I wanted to write songs like those guys. I wanted to write songs like After Love Is Gone.
Yeah.
And songs like Overjoyed. I naturally wanted to sing like Stevie Wonder. I naturally wanted to be like James Ingram and Michael McDonald and Kenny Loggins and all these guys. So basically, I just took all the little pieces of them that I love and I put them all together, and that's what makes me.
You did do it. And you pulled it off.
Thank you.
You really did. So at what point, because everybody comes up to me and says, look, here's my music, and could you download this and let me know if I have a hit or not? And I'm flattered by that. But at a certain point, somebody went up to you and said, Brian, I think we could actually do a record deal and sell a few.
Sort of. I just wanted to send my songs to all the record companies to have other people sing them. So they were like, well, who's singing the songs? I was like, well, that's me. Like, who's writing the songs? Well, that's me too. Well, who's playing all the instruments? Well, that's me.
Wow.
Like, well, do you want a record deal? I was like, okay. And here we are 22 years later. I'm
still doing it. And by the way, he's going to be doing it at the Levitt Pavilion in Pasadena. Brian McKnight live in concert. This is going to be Sunday, August 28th, and this is one you don't want to miss. We have the tickets at hot923.com, keyword tickets. And what is your show like? You come out, you start out, kind of give us a flavor.
Well, this show is different. I've been touring with my band for years and years, and last year, I wanted to do something. I wanted to go back to the way I wrote the songs. So I come out with a guitar or a piano, and I just play the tunes the way they were intended, the way I wrote them. And I tell the stories of not only the songs that I've written, but how I grew up musically, how I taught myself to play, how I had to go to every church in the world with my mother to play with her that I hated. But now I love it because that's really the way I learned to play.
And your mom obviously encouraged you.
She did. For the most part. Yeah. She didn't know about this whole, you're going to not sing church music anymore and you're going to do what exactly? Okay, I love you, so let's see where this goes. So,
right.
But that's the imaginary line that I won't cross. You're never going to see me on stage, with my shirt off. I don't wear shirts. With my shirt off and my pants pulled down. But, I've thought about it.
Yeah. Hey, that's right. You think about it because it's like a business, and you say, look, if Jay-Z is going to do it, I have to do it. There is pressure, isn't there?
There's pressure, but I've always felt when I'm watching, because over the weekend I had a couple other guys that opened for me, and they were doing that whole thing. But then you look at them and you say to yourself, well, what do you do next after that?
Right.
Where do you go after you take your shirt off? So I would rather wow you with the talent that God has given me than to, well, I guess my hard abs are talent too. But that's not really the point. The point is that it's about the music, man.
Yeah. That's what it is. Speaking of music, any songs you like these days? What did you download?
Oh, wow. That's a tough question. because like most of the people who are my age now, of course, I never thought I'd say anything like that.
Well, you're a young
My
guy,
age.
so you're a very young
Yeah.
guy, and you certainly,
According to
me,
whoever that might
yeah.
be. Not around my children who are the age that I was when I started. Everybody sounds the same. There are songs that I like, but I can't tell you who's singing them.
Right.
Which is very different than when I was a kid. When Mike McDonald came on the radio, that's who that was.
Sure.
There was no way to dispute that. And nowadays, it's just kind of like everybody's kind of the same. So I haven't really downloaded much of the new music. I still end up downloading the same records that I've been trying to listen to my whole life.
And how old are your kids?
My oldest son will be 22 this year.
You're
and
kidding.
my younger son will be 19.
Whoa, you must have had a child when you were 12.
When I was 20.
Yeah.
But close.
So was there ever a time where you say, you know what, I don't want you listening to that? Did you ever get to that point?
No, never.
Mm-hmm.
I always believe that if you raise your kids when they're really, really small, they'll be able to make really good decisions later on. You won't have to police them as much. So they knew that movies weren't real. They knew that music was entertainment. And they knew how to differentiate between real life and what the fantasies were in those other mediums. So
Sure.
I've been pretty liberal as far as letting them watch what they want to watch.
And how is their upbringing different from yours? Meaning, like, were your mom and dad together, divorced, or what?
They divorced when I was 11.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest difference between my children and me is that they are spoiled brats. Completely. And it's my fault because I wanted to give them everything I didn't have, and I gave them everything that I didn't have. And I'm not sure if that was actually the best way to go, but...
Well, now you have these kids and you say, now you're not going to wear that. What you drew a line in the sand. There has to be a time when you said to your daughter, your son, I don't want you wearing blank. What was it?
No, never.
You're kidding.
No, I mean, they're all tattooed up now and have been for years. My youngest is an incredible rock guitar player, and he looks like a rocker. So he's got piercings in his face and tattoos. And when he first started doing that, he had the black fingernails for a while and was doing that whole thing. I just had a conversation with him. I was like, do you know what people, the general public, associates with people who dress this way and act this way? And he was like, for him, it was really cosmetic more than it was anything else. And he's never done any drugs. He doesn't drink. He doesn't do anything. He just plays the hell out of a guitar and kind of likes that look. So I think that it's important to talk to your kids and, more importantly, to actually listen to them.
Yeah. Well, now, how would you feel if he says, Dad, I want to play guitar in your band?
He has played guitar in my band. He has. But now they have their own band. So now the hardest thing in the world is to get them to come back and do shows with me.
What's it called? What's his band?
Their band's called Broken Robots. But then they also produce my latest CD I produced with my two boys. What we do is we have a studio in the house, and I'll do a song and leave it up on the hard drive, and then I expect them to come in and make it sound like 2011 because I can't do it.
Wow. What a great feeling it is.
It really is, because when I come back home, because they sleep till 5 in the afternoon, and I'm gone to play golf. By the time I come back, they have made it something that I couldn't have made it. It's pretty incredible.
Now, you're in good shape. What do you do? Because you can't just go out and walk to stay in good shape. Do you have a regimen?
I do. I box, and I've been boxing for 2 years now. And before, like when I first started, I dropped 30 pounds. I was like, cool, I'm good. And then I stopped.
Right.
And then it took 2 years to gain it all back. So 3 weeks ago, I'm back in the gym 4 days a week. And my trainer, he thinks I'm going to end up fighting, which I'm not. But he said he wouldn't train me unless I learned to fight. So now I've actually learned to fight while I've gotten into shape.
Have you been popped a few times?
I've been popped several times every day.
Been knocked out?
Not knocked out. But it's, when you get hit in the face and it hurts, you keep your hands up then.
Yeah.
It's important.
I got knocked out one time, and it's the strangest sensation. You honestly see stars.
Right.
You do see stars, and the next thing you know, somebody's going, Rick, wow. It was a strange sensation. So good luck.
Yeah, well, I'm not, like I said, you're never going to see it build that Brian McKnight is fighting someone.
Natalia, you ever been in a girl fight?
No, I've never been in a girl fight. I'm too nice, actually. But I have taken Brazilian kickboxing. So if it comes down to it, I know I can handle myself.
Yeah, I know when we do Dees sleeves, if she doesn't get her shot on Dees sleeves, I get kickboxed. And it's not a good feeling. But now, this is a big show. Everybody's excited about it. Tickets are selling great. Which song do they, if I say like Back at One or Anytime, some of the big hits, which one do they respond to the most when you're out there on the stage?
It's a funny thing. You would think it would be Back at One. And Back at One is a huge song. It's the biggest song to date that I've ever done. But there is something about Anytime, and I think it's because more people have been through a serious heartbreak than they have been in a really legit, great loving relationship, because that loving relationship ends up being the bad one at some point down the line, unfortunately.
Oh, I got it.
So anytime tends to be the one. When I play the first few lines of that song, the intro, the place goes.
They go
ridiculously
nuts. I've
crazy.
seen it. And when you do that, when you're ever singing, you take yourself back to a place where you were personally, and you're actually singing to a person or to a time in your life?
There are certain songs that do that, and some nights you don't have it. Some nights, I'm not saying that you phone it in, but it's show business. Then other nights, there may have been something that happened earlier in the day or earlier in the week that all of a sudden you're singing a song that you swore you would never sing. Because in this particular show, I do, at the end of the show, I say, well, if there are 4 songs I haven't played yet, then yell them out. And it's surprising to hear the songs people want to hear, because some of them I would never sing because of that reason.
Right.
And then I'm in the middle of it, considering that I've written 2,000 songs, I've forgotten how to play it, I've forgotten the words, but here it all comes back. And it's like, yeah, but you wrote this song because you were feeling that way, and here we are now, and all these people are looking at you, and you got to keep it together, keep it together, keep it together, keep it together, keep it together.
Can you imagine? He just said, Natalia, he has written over 2,000 songs.
That's amazing. I couldn't imagine writing that many or being able to pour out my heart that many times.
Well, let me put it in perspective. I don't know 2,000 words. I mean,
That's not true.
With an IQ of 73. Well, out of Buffalo, New York, his favorite movie is American Gigolo, and he absolutely loves Stevie Wonder and his artists like Michael Cimbello, and brings all this to bear. And does a great radio show, too. I might say that's one of my favorites of all time.
You know what I thought I did until I sit in here with you, and I realized that when people tell me that I was born to sing and born to do things, being with you, you were born to do what you do. That's why you've done it so well for so long. I just want to give you that.
Wow.
Being here with you, man.
Did we get that on tape? Listen, Brian McKnight, you got to see him. We're going to be there, front row, Levitt Pavilion, Pasadena, coming up on the 28th. Can't wait. And any message, anything you'd like to say to your fans?
Just gratitude. Thanks. I started in this business thinking that it was going to be a springboard maybe to something else, professional basketball, being a shepherd at some point. That didn't pan out. But the fact that people still want to come out and see me, that I can still do this, that I can still make a living doing it, is only because they are so good to me. And I'll continue to do that as long as they want me to. Right
back at you. Brian McKnight, they give up for the man. Right here. Rick Dees in the morning, hot 92.3.